Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Armchair Keepers of Arcane Secrets. We are your guests, Matt Ryan and
Bob Geis.
Bob. Where are we?
Okay, this is a super exciting time because I'm going to recap session 3. You're recapping session 4.
I
So
love it.
we got some big stuff to talk about.
Okay. You've got my undivided attention. Indianapolis, session 3.
This was this great session. I'm telling you, I had the full complement and crew. So all the players showed up. My buddy's wife, she had a migraine last time. She was sick the time before. She's off the bench and was there. It was fantastic. She really brought it. I mean, if you think about it, Masks is super heavy on investigation and information overload at the beginning, and we had to pour through all of that, and she processed all this stuff, getting caught up on 2 sessions, like in short order, and was quickly leading the investigation. It was fantastic. I'm so glad she showed up because,
Wonderful.
again, we need that sort of thought. And lo and behold, they finally uh, looked into the Carlisle expedition. So yes, the Carlisle expedition, which everything is about, they looked into. So a couple of interesting things happened because of that. One, I did the trick. That I've told you about, right? Where I flashed the image of the Carlisle expedition
On
which
your
had
PowerPoint. You've got your high tech there down in the Geis game room.
That's right. Yeah. So again, the slide that someday, if we get up to 75 subscribers, I will show you this slide. Again, we're throwing this out, throwing these things.
Now we're
out.
holding the slides hostage.
The slides are hostage, right? So I created this slide with all the members of the Carlisle expedition on it, using photos that I've stolen from the internet.
Yes.
Yes,
Right.
And on the first slide, I included all of the members of the Carlisle expedition, plus Imwuru, right?
Boone.
Yes, Boone, yes, whichever name you prefer to call her by. But there was one image where I showed her, and then I flipped it back to, I think, the library. It's like, and this is the library you're at, and here's the Carlisle expedition, and then I showed just the Carlisle expedition, no Imwuru, and it's like, wait, there was somebody up there, somebody's missing.
They caught it immediately.
And they caught it immediately. And so I was really glad. That was really cool that they were paying attention, because you never know. You never know. That was kind of a test for them. And so then what I had them do was I had them, I don't know, I had to make some roll or whatever. But the seed that I planted was that they had seen this woman in some photo during their researches, right? Again, the articles that they saw were not the entirety of the information that they read while they were there in the dusty
magazine
library.
articles and things.
Yeah. So
society
somewhere
yeah.
They all remember seeing her, but none of them could find it again, right? So that seed is planted, and hopefully it will never they'll never lose it, right? Until they get to Kenya and they find her. And they'll if they talk to Erica Carlisle, which I'll get to in a second, they'll learn more about that. But so that seed was planted. They really have now an understanding of the Carlisle expedition. But an interesting thing happened, right, regarding Erica Carlisle.
Okay.
All of a
Who
sudden,
is the sister? That's the sister.
The sister, right?
Yeah.
The little sister. It's like all of a sudden they thought, maybe she was behind this massacre of the Carlisle expedition. It's like, oh, well, that's new. I haven't experienced that before. So
he certainly benefited from the absence of Roger.
Yeah, again, the entire Carlisle family estate did, right? And so his demise was a positive thing, really, for them. So, so they started plucking at that thread a little bit, and so they started plotting and planning on how they could get, in to see her, get those books in the library, and also what we've talked about a lot is those psychoanalyst files. They want to get that folder. And I want to give them that folder because that's a cool prop.
Because that was a highlight for me 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, when they got that folder, they were impressed.
Yeah, the folder's a great prop. One of the things that I'm kind of bouncing around here, but when we started the episode, it was they were reading through the notes of Jackson Elias, really piecing out all of what his journey had been as he had gone through these things. And so they read all of those, and then they read, of course, that last thing.
The last letter that
Yeah,
Prospero Publishing has.
yeah, where it's all really where it's fragment and all like he's seriously unhinged at this point.
And then,
So
and it's loaded with clues. I mean,
yeah,
they don't
loaded.
know that, but it is dripping with clues.
It is, yes. It's things that they'll come back to. They're doing a really good job. I was worried, again, because I don't have any loud voices in this crowd, right? These are all the guys who are like more, sit back and think about things. And I was worried that we were going to have not enough action, but I think it's going to be great. I think this is just the perfect crew
Yeah.
for this campaign. It's
Oh,
going splendidly.
oh, that's wonderful. And it sounds like a leader has arisen.
Yes, absolutely. Again, it's like a leader by committee, right? So they're all doing these different things that they're pushing it along, and so so much. Again, my Thursday sessions are unfortunately short,
Yes.
but we did a lot. We ended up with a cliffhanger. Okay, cliffhanger. I
Good.
wanted to what now?
Good. Good.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. I wanted to up the threat of the cult of the bloody tongue in New York, right? And again, how I'm playing them is that they're the least sophisticated cult, right? Again, once they get when they get to Egypt, it's going to be a much different sort of a thing, and obviously different in Hong Kong, all these different areas. But here, because of the gruesome, the graphic, the ultra violent nature of the murder of Jackson Elias, I want these guys to seem like they're unhinged and sloppy, right? So the session ended as Dr. Digbin, who is one of the pre-gens who Beth is playing, was going on his way to the county medical records, right, to get the folder, right?
Yes.
To
Yes.
get the folder, I had two members of the cult of the bloody tongue like begin to intercept the doctor, right? And another one coming up behind the doctor, right? So, and the one behind him was actually the cult leader from I can't remember his name, but the one
It's like,
from
yeah.
you know
The
what I'm
cult
talking about.
leader, not
Yes.
Silas, but the other guy.
No. And so the other players I were on a trolley, pulling away to go on their separate ways while the doctor was walking along. So they saw this, and so they all jumped off the trolley. I had to make the group luck roll, Matt, the group luck roll. I had them do this inspired by you. Of course, they failed.
Of course
So
they failed.
the trolley was going too fast, so I had to make a jump roll. And surprisingly enough, no one had put points in jump. And so they failed their jump roll and took a little tumble onto the dirt. And that's where we stopped, right? So we'll pick up then when we play again, which alas, is not until the beginning of April because of
Because
because
of
we
the
have Gary
convention
Con.
schedule.
Yep, Gary Con's coming up in a couple weeks, and that will put the kibosh on my next session.
Yes, and mine as well. Mine as
Yep,
well. Yes, I'll be. Gary Con now is in Lake Geneva. Is that right?
beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin.
Beautiful. So I will be there for the first time. I will be there. That sounds excellent.
It was fantastic. It was fantastic. It was a great session. I had a blast. And they
Wonderful.
also listened to the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society audio recording of the will of Jackson Elias, of his last statement to them, which was a big hit.
It is a big hit. That one is very well done. It's concise. It's very well acted.
The best part about it was when he says, and none of you can write worth a damn, at which point they all became very offended and threatened to quit the campaign.
Is that right?
Of course, facetiously, they said. Then there was another thing was in it. He says that you have to bring my killers to justice. At which point they said, "Well, we did. We killed them all. We're done."
We're right. We're wrapped. We're wrapped.
It's like no.
Yeah.
There was the jokes. The jokes were coming.
So a couple quick questions before I recap my session.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're not getting anywhere near the Adams. Millie and Hilton Adams.
Again, that was, and it's like it's through no fault of my own or no intention of my own. They see it and they talk about it and they just boop,
They
and they just
jump over. Are they still aimed at the Juju house?
oh my gosh. So again, investigators are always such busy people, right? Where do we go? Where are we going to get lunch? Where are we going to go investigate? And should we break into the Juju house? That's usually
Again.
exactly. That's usually the frame of reference there. So I really thought that there could have been they did a late night investigation at the library. They closed the library down, and it was either that or break into the Juju house. So I think that the Juju house will be broken into. People can't seem to resist breaking into the Juju house, but it didn't happen. It didn't happen. Again, I'm hoping that the next session that we have will involve three things. Maybe a talk with Erica Carlisle, getting the psychoanalyst files, and the breaking into the Juju house.
Let me ask you, and again, and then I'll launch into my recap. What did they get from talking with Erica Carlisle? And I asked that because in my session they did.
Yeah. So what do they plan? I think
what does Erica Carlisle really say?
It'll be interesting because I'm going to, again, it will be reactive to what they're asking her, right? Because her shtick is that she doesn't want the family to be embarrassed. And so if they talk to her, it'll be interesting to see if they are going to pursue their angle of, did you do it? Did you kill your brother? Did you arrange this whole thing? Right?
Which is funny.
Are they going to pursue that, or are they going to do something else? Again, she will. There was a brief mention of maybe going in there and saying that they were going to they're doing a story about the Carlisle expedition, but they were going to, or no. They were doing a story about the research that the Carlisle expedition was doing, but not necessarily about the Carlisle expedition itself, right? So I thought that was a clever angle, right?
Put a pin on that. Put a pin in that. Yeah,
Yeah.
is a good angle. That is a
And
good.
so, who knows if in close to a month they'll remember that, right? But again, it's. I don't know if that, I kept getting confused to be quite honest, that the psychoanalyst files, we had this discussion, were in her possession, which they aren't. They're in the county medical records office.
That's right.
So if they want to try to get their hands on the books, they can. That's never happened in any of the times I've run this game. They've never gotten their hands on the books.
The Arcane books?
Yeah.
They did in Ithaca because I just gave them to them.
Oh, nice. All right. Well, yeah, in my experience, they've never
one I gave to them.
Okay. All right. So that's it. What other questions do you have?
It will come to me as I tell you about what happened in Ithaca.
I want to hear about what happened with your session.
Okay, so sad news. One of my players had to drop out because of just different life things. So I'm down from 8 to 7.
You can hang with that. 7 players is plenty.
7 players is plenty, and I had all 7. And we're at the point in the Ithaca Masks team where they've broken into the Juju house. They've seen the horrors. They've run away. Now they have to figure out what they're going to do.
Yep.
Some of them didn't really want to do anything. Some of them wanted to instantly go travel. Oh, because I said at the beginning, okay, here's what I would like to have happen tonight. I would like to end in New York tonight, and I would like to know where we're going to go in 2 weeks when we play.
Sure.
Although we might not be playing in 2 weeks because of scheduling. But so that was I set that up right as we sat down, we got our drinks and So the last time we left, they were running from the Juju house, right? Having seen the zombies and the tube face monster.
Yes.
And then there was one person who couldn't make it last time, so they were bringing him up to speed. And the nice thing is while they were bringing him up to speed, I didn't interject anything. They would describe the monster. It was this monster that looked like da, and then they would look at me as if I was going to agree or help redefine. I didn't say anything.
Nice.
I just let them, it's like the old telephone game. The more it just sort of transfers around, the weirder it gets, right? so there was a lot of back and forth and what should we do and what do these clues mean and what else is there to do, because none of them were interested in going back to the Juju house. They wanted to blow it up. They
Okay.
wanted to get dynamite and just blow it up.
I love that. Right. Again, I was hoping fire, an explosion is a nice,
And I
is a
kept
nice
saying,
fallback.
there are like tenement buildings next door, and they're like, oh, I'm sure it'll be fine. What does the building run underneath the other building? The basement. Does the basement run underneath the other building? And I would say, well, make an architecture roll. And
Yeah,
and of course, no one had any points in
sure, of course.
architecture.
Yes, that's
I don't even think it's even on the sheet.
it.
So we spent we played for 3 hours. We spent a good chunk of time with them sort of debating. And I needed to move this thing forward. They did want to talk to Erica Carlisle. But we'd already spent kind of like, oh, here's what I did. It just came to me. They had said something 2 weeks ago about asking the other Hellfighters,
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
friends, because I am using the hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting that your guys have done that, and my
They're
guys
they're
it's like
hooked into that,
Teflon.
Yeah, they're hooked into that. So they asked the other Hellfighters to keep an eye on Millie, the wife
Okay.
of the innocent man. So I had one of them run into the bar, pant, 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 and saying, "Hey, there's these guys that are like driving around the building. They're stalking Millie's place."
Oh, okay. Nice.
Okay, so they jump in the car, they hurl over there. There's a little bit of violence. We have some violence on the step with just some
Okay.
more cult members. We fight some more machete wielding cult members.
Nice.
They
Okay.
see the evil cult leader.
Okay. Good. Good.
They see him. There's a stare down, right?
Uh-huh.
But there's 7 investigators running around. So
Yeah. There's a
so
lot going on
he
there.
he takes off. They deal with that. They save Millie. Okay, yes. And then I was thinking that I really didn't want to have the final fight there anyway. So that was all resolved quickly, just a
Mhm.
couple of die rolls. We didn't get into complicated combat. Then they wanted to talk to Erica Carlisle.
Okay.
So I already knew that there was going to be a cult confrontation that night in the session. And I didn't know how much real time I wanted to allocate towards meeting with Erica Carlisle. So
Mhm.
I made it a lot easier than maybe it's supposed to have been.
Mhm. Yep.
And mostly she gives her opinion of the other members of the team,
Yep. Great.
and which isn't a lot, really. It's not a lot. And then she does mention the old books.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
asked about the old books, and she said, well, the only one that she remembers, that she read bits of it, she doesn't want it, they can have it, is the one that has the prop page torn out of
Oh,
it.
nice.
So I gave them another high-end prop, and they loved it because that's juicy. It talks about sacrifices and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and reincarnation, and that's
Nice.
very, very good. That's very, very
Nice.
good.
Oh, yeah.
And at that point, we're closing in on 45 minutes left in the session, and they're back in the bar. And oh no, 3 of them had gone to talk to Erica Carlisle. That's right. The 3 of the
Oh.
investigators were out talking to Erica Carlisle. So while they were gone, and here I'm on the move
Yep. Yep.
before the session, and I mean, I can do this pretty quickly, right? But I threw together this quick sort of watercolor battle map.
Watercolor. Did you hear that, dear fans? Watercolor battle map.
So I put this
That's
out on the
something
table.
that's a Matt Ryan original there.
See, here's another one. I didn't know if they were going to do Juju House it up, so there was one for the Juju House too.
Look at that. Amazing.
If you're going to do art, here's a pro tip. Do a fucked up one so that you can practice your different bits, and then do the real one for later.
Nice. Were we at the 6-minute mark, Matt Ryan, by the way?
We're at the 19-minute mark. All right.
All right.
So,
Good.
So we haven't even hit the mailbag. Okay, so then so I put that out. I gave them I have little like plastic frog figures of different color that they can use, because I'm not buying minis.
That's good. That's good.
And the 3 players whose investigators weren't there, I gave them 3 of the Hellfighter NPCs.
Okay.
The basement is designed with a front door and a back door, and the cult attacks both ends at the same time. Zombies in the back.
Wow.
Cultists in the front.
Wow.
Wild melee. And is it Mumburu or something is the
Yeah.
cult leader's name or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's there. He's there.
Nice.
Okay. So they won with some very lucky extreme pistol fire shots.
Oh, good. Good.
Right, which does the timer's done. So we've got we're going to go a little longer, folks. Don't get mad. Some of you think you want us for more than you, anyways. So that so they dropped a bunch of the cultists quick. They got Mumbaro or whatever the cult leader's name is with an extreme shot for 15 points of damage that didn't kill him.
Oh, nice.
Now, the magic in Call of Cthulhu does not work as powerfully as I would like it to work.
Yes, it does.
I'm going out on a limb. I could be doing something wrong.
No, what I'm saying is it needs to be as powerful as you want it to be.
I don't like the opposed roll. I just want the magic to happen. Because I've got the keeper deck insane, the temporary bouts of madness cards that I'm ready to hand out. I want to hand these cards out to my players. I want their investigators to have temporary bouts of insanity, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And he's got a spell that just makes that happen. There's no roll, there's no nothing. It just happens and you get it. And the opposed power roll, despite his 85 power, they kept beating him. Yes. It happened once.
That's rough. That's rough because you do want your villains to be I don't know. It's tempting to cheat.
It's tempting to cheat. Now remember, he's like level 1 Bobo, so I want him to be defeated.
Yep.
The players loved it.
Fantastic.
They just loved the level of violence. They were setting the bar on fire. They were picking zombies up. Once they determined that the heads were the vulnerable spot.
Yeah.
A strong character would pick a zombie up, turn it upside down, and bash its head into the fire that was burning on the floor.
Wow. Did they use the Chakota as a body disposal device?
We didn't. We never went back to the Juju house.
Oh, you didn't go back to where was this basement then?
This was happening in the speakeasy that the players
speakeasy basement.
Their little headquarters. I made the speakeasy a basement.
Okay, got it. Perfect.
There was a haberdashery. They decided there was a haberdashery shop above it.
Perfect.
Speakeasy was in the basement. Yes. So we're going to dive into the mailbag right now, Bob.
Right now,
because we had one of our subscribers, Mr. Mike Mason, who of course is he's the line editor, he's the creative director. He'll let me know that I got his title wrong.
Yes, that's right.
And he wants to know how we let the chips fall when we're rolling for sanity and damage.
All right. So I will delight our viewers with this thing here. I will show you. This is my latest purchase here in the gaming basement, which is this ginormous tray, right? This ginormous tray with this dice pad on it, right? And so this sits out in front of the table, right?
Yes.
And so that was me crashing something there. I hope you heard that. The dice rolls happen right there in front of them. So, again, there's no hiding, right? So when the things are getting real, that's where they're going. That's where they're happening.
It's getting real, folks. Here, and you know what? I do the same thing. I roll right in front of them. And you know what else I've got? Giant dice.
Nice.
That's a D20, which you don't use. But my giant percentile dice. I've got huge hands, folks, but
yes. See, that's some good stuff there. I have my highly readable old man dice that I love to use. So the only downfall is my notoriously bad rolling. So it will get my players or my NPCs, my monsters will be nerfed by my poor rolls. I feel bad for them. They will not be able to wreak the havoc that they so wish to.
They are designed to die, so it doesn't matter, right? We want the investigators to win,
right? We want them to be pinched a little bit, but in terms of, we have to answer Mike's question again. So I don't hold anything back, right? If a player dies, they die. I'm sorry, their character dies. If their character dies, the character dies.
We try not to kill players.
Yeah, generally speaking. So I've told them all to not to not fill out their passport and not paste their little photo into their passport until we're ready to leave New York, because they may not all be leaving New York.
I had the same character it happened to him a month ago with a major wound,
Oh yeah.
fall to 0 hit points,
Oh yeah.
and was making con rolls each round when it came to his initiative order
Yep.
or die.
Yep.
It was very exciting, and I let my players spend as much luck as they want.
Mm-hmm.
If you
Yep.
want to spend it all on a con roll to save yourself from dying, it's fine with me.
That's
And
right.
he had to. He spent 30 luck to make a Constitution roll at one point.
You can't take it with you. No, that's great.
So,
That's great.
and then I want to close this. Here's the last bit of my session. So they did it, and we're not going to go back to the Juju house. They're not going to get to look at the super cool Mythos mask, which is fine. It's one of these things that we're like, look at this cool thing you found. Oh, you peek inside, it blows your brains out. You know
That's
what I
right.
mean? So we're not even going to do that. Earlier, Bob had said that I wasn't quite sure where they were going to go next because there was a lot
Oh yeah.
of discussion
Where are they going?
going to China. So I said, okay, so where are we going in 2 weeks? And around the table, you know what they said. London, London,
London.
London, 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 London.
Fantastic. Again, that's perfect. I mean, it makes sense. The campaign would be super weird, and I don't know how it would be confusing if they went to Shanghai at this point. They don't know enough. I mean, it builds.
It does build. One last thing.
Okay.
There's so many last things. We got to end this damn thing. When they went to Erica Carlisle and the Ithaca team, they said that they had heard some of the Carlisle expedition may be alive. I know. And then I said, Roger's alive. And they said, we didn't say Roger. Like they caught her in some kind of trap.
Oh, all right.
No, it's all very good stuff. The other bit was that my players, because they're not watching these wonderful podcasts.
That's right. Like those other 65 subscribers are.
The 66.
66.
They want to know what's going on with your team.
Nice.
Before we did our recap, they wanted to know what was going on with you. And I have 2 players at the table named Bob. It felt like we had 3 Bobs because they kept saying Bob, referencing you.
You know what I honestly thought would be incredible is if I came to Ithaca and GM'd one of your sessions.
And I went to Indianapolis.
Yes.
All right.
That would be amazing.
That's crazy talk.
That is crazy talk.
That's crazy talk. We're out of time, folks. Thank you so much for riding this crazy train with us. Although this isn't an ocean liner because there's no trains here, but we are going to get on an ocean liner, and the Ithaca crew is going to London in 2 weeks.
Nice.
Meanwhile, Bob and I are going to GaryCon in beautiful Lake Geneva.
Yes.
We're gonna run some games. We're going to see each other. We're going to see some of our friends.
Fantastic time at GaryCon, always.
It's going to be a good time. Do you want to do the begging?
Oh yes, please. Please, our 66 subscribers. I know each of you possibly has a friend. Tell that friend, beg that friend to subscribe and like and all that stuff.
Thank you so much, everybody. Bob, I will see you in the flesh in 2 weeks.
Right on.